Hi guys, welcome so much to my channel. Thank you for clicking this video. I genuinely appreciate it. So as usual, if you are a returning subscriber, I appreciate you with all my heart. But if this is the first time you're seeing this face, please hit the subscribe button. You're not going to regret it. So today is a bit of a story time slash personal experience, and we are going to talk about dealing with rejection, healthy ways of dealing with rejection. But today it's more on the side of not relationships or friendships or anything like that. It's mostly on the part of jobs, seeking employment, such stuff. Because if you have looked for jobs in this Kenya, in this world, if you have looked for jobs in this life, you know that that is not an easy path. It's not a walk on the park for most people, because there are some nepo babies. There are people that like literally they've never struggled to find jobs. Good for you. But if you have been on the job scene, you know that looking for a job, going through the interview process and actually getting the job is not an easy thing. So today I want to make it a personal, it's something I want to talk about based on my personal experience with this one particular company that has been my dream company for so long. It has been so years. Like I have so much desire in my heart to work for this company. I have had the desire in my heart for as long as I can remember. And one thing about me and this company, we have a weird relationship because I always get too close. Because it's not the first time. So the company I'm talking about is Qatar Airlines, and we're going to talk about my personal experience with the interview and everything, the rejection, the scar, everything. We're going to talk about it from beginning to the end. By beginning I mean from the time I sent out my application to the waiting period to the invitation to the assessment and being told, well, try your luck next time. Well, it did not happen too long ago, because I have had interviews with Qatar Airlines twice, and both times I don't usually fail the interview part, the question part. I usually fail the part that I literally have no control over. I cannot control that I have a scar. I cannot control that I have a birthmark. If you have been to these interviews, you know exactly what I mean. And I'd like to say that companies retain the right to, decide that I don't want this kind of people, or I don't want this, or this is a deal breaker for us. They have that right. So I don't have anything negative about the company. I still love the company. I still would like to work for the company at some point. And I feel like they have all the right to have their own way of recruitment, to have whatever it is that they like, whatever it is that they want with the candidates, with the people that they're going to give jobs. It's completely their right. So this is not to bash the company. This is not to bash their process. Because one thing I'm going to say, their interview process is usually very organized based on what I have experienced. Like I've said, this is my personal experience. Maybe you've gone to different recruitment centers and you did not feel the same as I did, because I feel like one thing you can give them is they are very organized. The whole process is well organized. So let me stop rambling and get back to the point. So I've wanted to work with Qatar Airlines for the longest time, and I think it's something that I can say it's within me, even as for now as we speak. So back to it. Let's get right into it. So, as you know, or if you don't, let me just say it. Qatar Airlines doesn't usually come to Kenya as much. It can come once or twice in a year, but it comes more compared to Emirates and Etihad. Let's talk about the Middle Eastern airline companies. Those are the ones that we're talking about right now. So if you compare Qatar Airlines to Emirates and Etihad, Qatar Airlines usually comes to Kenya more often. So let me start from the beginning. The beginning is 2023. In the beginning of 2023, they were coming to Kenya. So I sent out my application and I waited. So I saw on TikTok that some people had been invited for their assessment. I had a friend also that had applied who was invited for the assessment, but I did not get an invitation. But my portal was always reading CC MBR something meets something. I'll find a way to stick what my portal was reading, because after I did a few research, I learned that it means CCMBR means cabin crew meets basic requirements. That's what I learned from the research that I did. So it was quite disheartening because my portal read that for the longest time. I did not get any reject or anything. It read that for the longest time. So as you know, you cannot go for Qatar Airlines interview without an invitation. So I did not go for that particular assessment. It broke my heart because I was really looking forward to it. I had done my preparation because I had sent my CV, and my CV is good. Not to blow my own horn, but my CV is good. So I was almost sure that I was going to be invited. So I had started research prior to the invitation date. But I did not get invited, and my friend got invited, by the way, but she didn't go because it's not something that she really wants. Anyway, so people went for the assessment. I was just seeing everything on the internet, and it was breaking my heart because I was asking myself, why was I not invited if I meet basic requirements? Anyway, I forgot about it. So December 2023, yeah, I remember it was December 2023. I saw that they were coming again. I was so happy, I was ecstatic. Because I remember when I saw the post, it was like a day, on that same day that they had posted it. I saw it on that very day, and I was quite excited. And I said, okay, let me try something else. So I polished my CV just a little bit because I was like, if I was not invited with the other CV, it would be foolish of me to use the exact same one to apply and expect different results, So I polished my CV, I sent out my application, I was happy. And something happened that has never happened in Kenya before because they came twice. What I mean is they came in January. The January batch were invited. When I saw again, sorry, I'm so sorry about that. So when I saw again that the January batch had been invited, I was like, it has happened again. Because when I looked at my portal, it was reading the exact same thing. So I just lost hope. I decided, okay, fine, I've not been invited again. So see, I forgot about it. And then later on, I saw that people had issues. Like you can see your portal is reading you have been invited for the assessment, but they don't have the actual invitation email. So it was a problem with the system, I think. So people just went, people showed up. People showed up, people have had different dates and people showed up. So I thought my portal also has a problem. My portal also had the exact same problem. So what I decided, I learned about that later on, after the meet and greet day. The next day, I learned that some people were just going without the invitation because the portal had an issue. So the next day now, when I learned about that, the next day was the invitation now. Do you understand? As in the people that had gone for the meet and greet the previous day, and then they were invited for the next day. So that is what the next day, that's what it was. I hope that makes sense. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to just go blindly and ask and say my portal had a problem, if they could consider me. So I dressed up, did a little bit of makeup, and I just decided to go blindly, knowing very well that that is not protocol, knowing very well that that's not what usually happens. So I went and I met the recruiters. Were very, very nice. I explained to them, they were very nice. They listened to me, and then they told me that just leave your CV behind, and then we're going to invite another batch for February. So in my head, I was like, they're just lying. They just don't want to tell me blatantly. But anyway, it's okay. So they explained to me that they've already gone through the steps and they cannot take it back because of one person. So I should wait for the next batch because they're going to come back again in February. Mind you, this is January. This is January we're talking about. So I went home and I was just like, this is gone. I was like, it's as in it's done. I was hopeless. I was heartbroken. I was feeling all sorts of emotions. I was feeling really, really bad. But I went home. So I went back home. I just decided to just get it off my mind because I was like, I don't think they're ever going to come back. But you know, so at this point, I'm moving on with my life. I've gotten it off my head. And then one day, I receive an email, an invitation for assessment. It was in February. The assessment was supposed to be in February. I received the email, I think 1 or 2 weeks prior. I'm not so sure, but I received it like I think 1 or 2 weeks prior to the interview date for prior to the assessment date. The assessment date was supposed to be on 4th of February. I was excited. I was ecstatic. I was happy. Like I was filled with joy. I was overjoyed. I was so happy. So I made preparations. I continued with my research. I'm sorry. Like I was so determined to get this job. I wanted this job so bad. So I'm sorry. I kept getting distracted by a pre-mantis that was inside the room for some reason. Anyway, so I did my research. I was doing all sorts of like I researched and researched. I became obsessed at this point. I became obsessed. Like I was obsessed. I was like the only thing, my whole search engine, everything on Qatar Airlines assessment every day. Anytime I'm seated somewhere, that is the only thing I'm looking up. That's how bad I wanted this. So I prepared. I had some Afro kinky on my head. I had to undo it because I researched. I said, I researched, and it's something that at least I was a bit conversant with the expectations. And considering the fact that my sister was a cabin crew with Qatar Airlines, she also told me a few things that are expected of me, like my grooming and everything. Like she helped me out, and the day came. So my invitation was for 10 a.m. So different people had different timings. There were people for 8 a.m., 10 a.m., 11, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1 and 2, I think. Yeah. Because I remember we were many. When I got there, we were so many. The queue was long. I met some people that had already had the assessment done. For the people who were, their invites were for 8 a.m. They had already, it was crazy because the queue was long. You have your little heels on, you're trying to look cute, you're trying to look like a cabin crew, because you're always told, try to embody that role, try to look like a cabin crew. But, you know, because they usually want your face, like they want to see your bare face. They want your hair to be, they want you to collect your hair like this. They don't want your hair all over your face. They want to see your face. Like they usually want to see your face. Bro, we stayed in line, and at that point we are just talking with each other. We're like trying to give each other hope. We're trying to, because we were anxious. We were so anxious because this is a prestigious role. It's a prestigious role, and it's a job that so many people want. It has so many perks. Can you imagine being paid to travel? And you're being paid well, and you're being paid to travel. It's quite prestigious. Anyway, we got there. The queue was long, but it was moving. So we moved in batches. We were invited inside in batches. So we went inside the hall. We were briefed a bit. The recruiter came and she briefed us a bit. Not much. She didn't want to talk much. I think the whole process was even tedious for them. Because I remember we had like 3 recruiters. Yeah. Was it 3? We had 4 recruiters. One was like some sort of supervisor or something. She was the one overseeing the whole process. And then there were 3 others who were now asking the questions and all. I think they were also overwhelmed because where we were many, people in Kenya are looking for jobs. They're looking for jobs. And that's the thing that I don't get. Like, why do they invite more than... They invite such a huge number only for them to take not even a quarter of the quota. I don't get it. If you get it, please try to explain to me. I do not get it because it feels it's quite discouraging. Anyway, I'm not trying to bash the company. I'm just giving my opinion. So we waited in line, and then we got inside. We were briefed a bit. So the thing now is, um it's different for everyone. This process is usually different. I'm not saying that this is what usually happens, but it's the assessments are usually different for everyone. Now I'm not going to like give too much detail because it was quite heartbreaking for me. It was heartbreaking because the thing that made me to not proceed was, I'm not sure if it's possible for you to see it. I have a like a scar. This scar. The recruiter saw this scar, and then they usually try to be so nice about it. They ask you like, so what is this? And the minute she asked me that, I just knew that, because she has noticed it, and it's on my finger, like it's on my finger. It's not something that, because I had tried to hide it a bit with makeup, but it's quite visible. So I just talked to her about it, and then she was like, okay, and she smiled. But at that point, I just knew. I knew that this one, that is it. So I'm telling you, that thing is heartbreaking. Because one thing about getting an invitation to an interview, especially for a prestigious role, you start to plan that salary. You plan it to the last coin. I had planned my life. I had already planned how I'm going to say goodbye to my family. The delusion, the delusion, the delusion is what kills. Like, it's the delusion is what brings you down to your knees. Not even the rejection. It's now trying to come to terms with, okay, I'm not going to proceed. I'm not moving forward. That is what breaks you. That is what breaks your spirit. Because like, you have already convinced yourself, you've already made plans, you're going to travel the world, you've already pictured yourself in that uniform, you know. And it's hurtful if it's something that you cannot control. That is what hurts. If you fail an interview because maybe you were late, or you were not eloquent, or you were not articulate, or your speech was a bit hesitant, that one you can say, okay, I'll try again next time, and maybe I'll speak more clearly, I'll speak more clearly and stuff. But a scar or a birthmark, that is something that is beyond you. It's something that you cannot control. Anyway, how I dealt with rejection, that specific one, because it's different. I decided to, I know it's a cliche, but if you just convince yourself enough, it's a very comforting statement. Rejection is redirection. It's a very comforting statement because, let me just be honest. Let me be completely honest. I hate Kenya. I do not want to be in Kenya. But when I think about my child, when I think about my son and being away from him, unless I get a job that would allow me to move with him, but of which that is quite rare. But if I think, because I genuinely would like to be a cabin crew at some point in my life, but when I think about separating from my son, it just holds me back. It makes me feel, okay, maybe being a cabin crew is not even what I want after all. Because I just decided to think, okay, it is a downfall, but at least it has bought me more time with my child. Because I remember that day when I came back home, I held him so tight, and a part of me was happy. A part of me was like, imagine it's okay, because at least I have time to spend with my child. And it's something that I was not willing to admit, but I'm going to just admit it. I don't know about separating with my child. So, in essence, what I'm trying to say, I just looked at the bigger picture. I looked at I just decided to see it as glass half full. Because, I remember going home that day, I felt so insufficient. I felt discouraged. I felt the rejection in my chest. It was pricking me, it was pricking me. And you know, at that moment, it's very easy to feel less worthy or feel like, I don't know, there's a very strong sense of nothingness after you leave this place, and it's probably because of your birthmark or you have marks on your body or just something. It makes you feel like you're not enough. But that is a lie. Do not allow that thought to overpower you, because it can easily do that. It makes you actually you feel a sense of anger. You feel, as in, you feel horrible, you feel so bad. Alafu, another thing that happens, you tend to look at the people that proceed or the people that, make it, and you start to compare yourself to them. You start to like ask yourself, Kwani, as in, what is it that they have that I don't, or how different are they from me? It's a dark place. It's quite a dark place. But I remember that day on my ride back home, there's a certain level of, I felt relieved. I don't know how to explain it. I was not exactly sad that I've not been taken. I was just sad by the fact that I don't have a job. That is all. But not anything else. And the fact that I was sad that I don't have a job is not even like it was so sad about it, because I quit from my job to take some time and just relax and rest for a bit. I had told myself when I quit my former job, I had told myself I want to rest for like 6-8 months fast, because gosh, the working scene was exhausting, especially dealing with customers. It's quite challenging. So I had gotten to a point where I was like, no, let me just rest for a bit. I've done this for a few years, but let me just rest for a bit. So I was not worried in terms of money or anything like that. I was just, I was just like, this is a job that I actually wanted, and they usually come to Kenya like once a year or twice at most. I've never seen them come to Kenya as much as they usually go to South Africa. South Africans are blessed, by the way. If it's Emirates are always in South Africa. Qatar Airlines are always in South Africa. Etihad, they're always in South Africa. Like, okay, good for you. Good for you. So in my head, I was just like, I don't know the next time I'll get the opportunity to try this out, but it's fine. It's okay. I was longing to embrace my son. I was longing to embrace my child in my arms. Like when I got home, when I saw him, because when I got home, he was not at home. He had gone out with his dad. So when he came back home and he found me home, he was like, Mama, and then he hugged me, and I was so happy. It was such a beautiful moment. And I was like, it's not so bad. Imagine it's not so bad. So in essence, I'm trying to say I focused on one good thing. Just one good thing. You can never lack just one good thing out of this whole experience. In as much as I was disappointed and I was discouraged, I found just one thing that made sense to me, that made me happy, that gave me joy, and that was it. It worked out for me. Suddenly I was at peace. I was okay with the whole thing, because I remember the next day, by the way, before I continue, after the whole thing, I called the father of my child. I called my partner, the father of my child, and I explained to him, and he was so he told me encouraging words. He told me, you've given it your best, and there's nothing you can do about the fact that you have a scar. Just come back home. It's fine. It's okay. Like he encouraged me. I also spoke to my sister, who also encouraged me. So like I felt it's not that bad. It as in, these words actually helped me to deal with it, because I remember the next day, after the whole thing had happened, the next day I woke up and I feel like that pain had been ripped out of my heart. Like, not ripped out of my heart, that pain was no longer inside my heart. Let me just put it like that. I was not in pain. I was just like trying to make sense out of why are cabin crews not allowed to have a scar. I don't understand. If you do, just help me understand, because I don't. Tattoos, I can understand, but a scar? Anyway, maybe it's just me, but I don't get it. I just do not get it. Anyway, I still have undying love for Qatar Airlines, and we're waiting for them to come back. Giving up is not an option. Giving up is not an option. Anyway, rejection is something that is completely dependent on how you decide to view it. If you decide to view it as a blessing in disguise, it becomes easier to deal with it than if you decide to view it from the victim mentality. Because I refused to be a victim. I refused to be the victim of that situation. I refused completely. I refused. Because one thing about it is these recruiters, you don't usually know. You can never tell what they're looking for. Because I saw people that I was 100% sure they're going to make it through. I saw them go home. I saw them go home. So you don't really know. And I try to tell myself, everything happens at its perfect time. Maybe it was not my time yet. Maybe it is not my time. Maybe it's not meant to be. Maybe it's never going to happen. And that is okay. Imagine it's completely okay. Try to look at life as, try to convince yourself. My younger sister usually says, the universe is for you, not against you. The universe is rooting for you. The universe is not happy when you're not happy. The universe is not fighting against you. So don't try to look at things from a victim mentality. Try to look at it from, everything is working for me, for my sake. Everything is happening the way it's supposed to. So no matter what you do, even if you throw yourself off a cliff, something that is not meant to happen is not going to happen. So that's the mindset that I've decided to have. And trust me, I have never been more at peace. That thing that I want so bad, that relationship that you want to work so bad, if it's not working out, just take it as the universe helping you out. And one day you're going to look at it and be like, thank God things did not happen the way I wanted. That job that you want so bad, if you have tried everything you can and it's not working out, if you've tried everything and it's not happening for you, imagine, just let it be. Maybe it's for your own good. Just let it go. One day, it's all going to make sense. That is how I deal with rejection of any kind. Anything that is not happening according to my desire or what I want, or like, you can want something so bad, but the odds are against you. Like, nothing is happening, nothing is working out. Just take it as a sign and just let it be. One day it's going to make complete sense. That is how I decide to view rejection in general, of any kind. If I try my best, one thing is for sure, I'm going to give my best. I'm going to do my best. That's for sure. But if it's not happening, if it's not working out, I will let it go. I will let it go. I have let go of so many things. I've let go of so many friendships. And I've never felt a sense of lack or missing out or regret. So that is to say something. If you are trying as much as you can but something is not working out, let it go. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. One day you're going to look back and be like, thank heavens things did not go according to my plans. Thank God that relationship did not work out. Thank God that friendship did not work out. Thank God I did not get that job. Thank God. One day everything is going to make sense. It's a cliche, but it's true. Rejection is redirection. Thank you so much for sitting with me through this video. I love you very much. Hit the subscribe button if you have not already. If your dream is to be a cabin crew with any airline, I wish you the very best. Don't give up, give it your all, but don't take it too personal. Don't take it to heart if you don't make it through. That is all I'm going to say. See you on my next one. Bye.